Most people see war as something happening over there. But the truth is, when conflict hits global systems, especially energy, it doesn't stay overseas. It shows up in your wallet. And right now, with the Iran conflict escalating, there's a very real economic shift happening. All supply disruptions, rising prices, inflation pressure. This is not theory. It's already happening. So the real question is, who benefits and who pays the price? The first layer, the energy equals everything gets more expensive. When conflict disrupts, all supply prices spike. And right now, millions of barrels per day have been removed from the market, pushing oil prices sharply higher. And here's what most people don't realize. Oil is not just gas. It affects transportation, food, manufacturing, electricity. So when oil rises, everything rises. Gas prices go up, shipping costs go up, groceries go up, and that's inflation. And that inflation hits everyday people first. The second layer, inflation transfers wealth quietly. Inflation doesn't feel like a tax, but that's exactly what it is. When prices rise, your money buys less. So even if your income stays the same, you're losing purchasing power, right? And here's the key. The people with assets benefit. The people holding cash, they lose, because assets adjust with inflation. Cash does not. So while the average person struggles with rising costs, those positioned correctly are gaining. The third layer, market volatility, creates opportunity for the top. When uncertainty hits markets, most people, they panic. They sell, they freeze, they wait. But experienced investors do the opposite. They prepare. They understand that volatility creates opportunity. During events like this, stocks drop, sectors shift, assets get mispriced, and those with capital step in. They buy low while everyone else is reacting emotionally. The energy sector advantage. Right now, one of the biggest beneficiaries of this conflict is energy. When oil prices rise, all companies make more. Energy stocks increase. Commodity traders profit. This is not accidental. It's structural. Higher oil equals higher revenue for producers. So while consumers are paying more at the pump, energy players are generating more profit. The hidden mechanism, interest rates and policy. Now, here's where it gets deeper. When inflation rises, central banks respond. They may keep rates higher, delay rate cuts, tighten financial conditions. And what does that do? It makes borrowing money more expensive. That affects housing, business loans, credit cards. So now the average person is hit twice: higher prices and higher costs of money. The wealth transfer nobody talks about is this. The part most people miss is this. During economic shocks, money doesn't disappear, it moves from consumers to corporations, from the unprepared to the prepared, from the reactive to the strategic. And this happens quietly. No announcement, no warning, just a real gradual shift. The role of the information is that the people who benefit the most are not guessing. They understand, right? Macro trends, market reactions, positioning. They don't wait for the headlines. They anticipate movement, because by the time something is obvious, it's already priced in. And how this affects you directly, let's make this practical, right? If all stays high, you pay more for gas, food, travel, everyday goods, right? At the same time, interest rates stay elevated. Savings lose value to inflation. Markets become unstable. So even if your income doesn't change, your financial pressure increases, right? And the real risk by doing nothing, the biggest mistake during times like this is inaction, not adjusting, not learning, not positioning, because the system keeps moving whether you participate or not. And if you're not positioned, you absorb the impact instead of benefiting from it, right? But here's the strategic shift. Now, here's the key takeaway, right? This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Understanding that economic events create ripple effects, right? Those effects create opportunities, and opportunities rewards preparation. So instead of reacting emotionally, you start thinking strategically. You ask, where is money moving, right? Where is it flowing? Who benefits from the shift? And how can I position accordingly? The Iran conflict, right, is not just a geopolitical issue. It's an economic event, right? And like every major economic event, it creates winners and losers. The difference comes down to one thing and one thing only: positioning. Because while most people are focused on the headlines, right, the real game is happening underneath all of that. And the sooner you understand that part, the better you can protect and grow your position.